At any given point in a person's life, you're given the choice to go down the life of average or down to a road where things will get harder and more difficult, but lead you to be something more extraordinary than any other person like you. I was faced with this challenge. It was October 14th, and I sat nervously in the doctor's office of the specialist who had just completed my testing. They had told me I had yielded signs of slow processing speed and of slow working memory. I was speechless. I was upset and was threatening to keep the tears from falling down my face. They had then told me I was incapable of taking anything that required any course of rigor, period, for my entire life, that I was mentally incapable of doing so. And at that, I got upset. I started crying. Everyone needs someone to push them beyond their limits, beyond what they believe they are capable of doing. Everyone needs a saving grace. And mine was Miss Kathleen Burrow. Miss Burrow taught me that I was capable and that I wasn't going to be just average. I could amount to something extraordinary despite my illness. And she did this for many of her students. It was hard and difficult, but she showed us we were more than capable. And for that, most of us are grateful. She urged her students to excel beyond in normal coursework. She taught them that, going above and beyond is better than amounting to what is expected of you. If we had a project that was due in a week, she expected us to have it done next day. If we had questions, she expected us to ask. It was especially important for me because I personally was required to stand up and excel, period. I was told it was harder for me to grasp basic concepts than most kids. And that was challenging. I had to force myself to study harder and even more diligently than my classmates and peers. It was difficult, but I made do. Miss Burrell urged her kids to be self-advocates for themselves. Us as 14 to 17-year-olds, we aren't very vocal. We're used to your children, your kids. Your parents baby you. They help you and they do what you want when you need them to. You were never taught to speak up for yourself. And that's what you had to learn in high school. If you got a bad grade on something and you didn't understand why, you had to do it. A friend of mine, her name is Madison, she said the same thing. She was forced to talk. Miss Pro would walk with her to class to talk to a teacher about something. She claimed it was the most embarrassing thing she had ever had to do in her life. Granted, she wasn't there at my prom, but Miss Burrow not only taught her kids to value and to excel in what they were currently in, but urged them to go above and beyond what they already were in. I was in a normal English class. I did not think I would be capable of taking anything more advanced than a basic English class. But Miss Burrow told me I should try it anyway. And if I was really not convinced, and I was really sure I was going to fail, which I was, that I could drop out. But I'm highly ambitious, and I didn't want to drop out. And at that, I had passed, at the end of the year, my first ever rigorous English course. AP, and got an AP score back of 4 the coming fall. I was impressed with myself. And from that on, I continued with AP rigorous courses. It was inspiring for me, as it was for many students who even didn't have disabilities like I did, that they were capable of being something so much more than average. And it's hard for some people to see that, most kids, in that fact, because they're told that they will amount to nothing more than the basic person. But that's not the case. And if that was the case, we'd live in a very boring world. It was at that point I learned a very valuable lesson in life that Miss Burrow helped facilitate me to understand. And it's for her that I'm indebted to her for this reason. Life's difficult. There's nothing about life that is easy. Everyone has their own path in life, and they have a road they're following. That road consists of many roadblocks, many tornadoes and hurricanes of goodness knows what. Your boyfriend broke up with you, I don't know. I won't ever know. I only know what's down my own road. And it's not going to be simple. And you could take the easy way out and go down a life of an average person. Or you can continue down the road of an extraordinary person, which is even more difficult and requires even more discipline and self-advocate and pushing yourself to the limit. But that's okay. Because if you fight and you want it bad enough, you'll do it. I owe a lot of who I am today to Miss Burrow, along with many of her other students. She strived us to be better. She took pride in the fact that her students sought and were highly ambitious to be more than just the average kid in high school. If being extraordinary was easy, everyone would do it. But then it wouldn't be extraordinary anymore. It'd be average. And then we'd be right down back on the same road. But somebody would push themselves farther to excel beyond what people perceive as normal or average, which is inconspicuous. So I guess I'll leave you with this. Are you going to stay average? Or are you going to try to be more extraordinary?